So this is an update. As people know, I was due to be in court this Friday, the 22nd, recharged because I caused anxiety to 10 Muslim paedophiles. I caused them anxiety, and they're supposed to be free of anxiety whilst walking into court on charges of raping dozens of young English children. Anyway, I was supposed to be in court this Friday. I know many of you, this is an apology. I know many of you were making your travel arrangements, had booked your days off in order to be there. I don't know a new court date. I've been waiting all day. I got first told of suspicions tomorrow that it's going to be adjourned, but I'm now being told that I won't be in court this Friday. From what I understand, it's going to be probably in May. That'll be a year since the time of the offence. What offence? What am I talking about, the time of the offence? There was no offence. Anyway, this is to let you all know that May the 22nd is 99% not happening. 99% going to be in May. But I'll let you all know tomorrow for sure. If you had made plans, I apologise. I thank you first of all, but I apologise. If you can, what I'm going to do, so this was supposed to be on Friday the 22nd. Now, on Friday the 29th, the date that we were due, we are still due to leave the European Union. Many thousands are going to be gathering in London. It's a Friday. If you were coming on the 22nd, I'd ask you to please make your way to London on the 29th. I'm having a meeting tomorrow with some other people to look at the prospect of having a large stage and PA system and organising a proper demonstration, but we'll have a chat first tomorrow to see the logistics around that. But what I will say is that Friday the 29th, our Independence Day, supposedly, will either be out celebrating or there'll be people wishing to protest the start of a movement again. So 22nd is off, 29th is on. Anyone who signed up at tr.news, please do. So I'll give you all the updates for the 29th on there. I'll also give you the updates for when I'm next in court on there. My court case, eh? What about my court case? So, before my court case, Brexit betrayal, round 2, 29th. London. Make your plans. Make your arrangements. Be in London. I'll be there. My court case. So, what we now have, Cambridgeshire Police come to court and lied. 3 of their statements said I was drunk, I was disorderly, I should have been arrested. They said that I was swearing, continually swearing. In the entirety of the video, my video, the only video evidence because theirs has been deleted. In the entirety of my video, I didn't swear once. So if we didn't have the video and we took their statements were littered with lie after lie. When Bedfordshire Police, this is where I won't put all the police into the same bracket. When Bedfordshire Police was summoned to court and their football intel, that's the expert on hooligans. He's been an expert for 12 years for Luton. When he got to the premises and the police were talking about me, he told them I was no trouble and to leave me. And he wouldn't advise moving me. There was no need to move me. I don't cause any problems. Specifically, this is the intel officer. Along with that, the manager of the pub and the restaurant said we were no bother. But the police proved in court that it was reasonable and necessary to eject me and my children from the entire city of Cambridge. We live in a police state. And to top all that off, I said, was it a win, was it a lose? Every one of you who has seen that video has seen it. The video footage is clear. It's there. It's black and white. You can't argue with it. How a police officer can defend that. And not just defend that. How a judge can. My court case was supposed to be in Cambridgeshire County Court. It was moved the day before to Peterborough County Court. Was it to be in front of this judge? Who clearly, the Luton police officer come to court and said that when he come into the pub, when he first come in, I was up, my children were upstairs with me. And then when he come back to the pub, I was outside on the grass with my children. The judge said, in her summing up, I think that police officer must have got it wrong. He was mistaken. My children weren't with me in the pub. She just rubbished the police officer's testimony of what he saw. The police officer who had nothing to lie about because he wasn't covering his ass because he was Bedfordshire Police, not Cambridgeshire Police. Oh, man. So it's now legal, which is the scary part for me. It's a test case that means that anywhere I go, police can now come and tell me to leave a city, even when I'm with my children. We live in a police state. And to top all of that off, she charged me 38 grand. I actually just laughed my head off in court. At the end of the court case, I said, once she said her verdicts, I said, can I say a couple of words? She said, no. I said, well, I'm going to say a couple of words. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for exposing this system. To all the people, and do you know what? When they talk about radicalisation, things like this are a radicalising factor. When people, the system, the legal system, the court system is supposed to hold the police to account when they do something wrong. Anyone who's watched that video, anyone can see that was wrong. When the police are even saying, and the judge even said in court, I done nothing wrong. But yet they still find it legal that I can be removed from an entire city and my children can be followed with cameras, so much so that they're terrified, screaming, hysterical, crying. That's all legit. When the police do that, they show you, actually, the police can't be held to account. Not if it's someone who talks about Islam anyway. Just like they talk about radicalising factors. You think censoring people, you think that's going to have a good effect? You think taking away people's platforms? 1.2 million people follow me on Facebook. You think removing that platform, that doesn't change their views? It doesn't change what they believe? In fact, it just makes them see. If we want to, which I always say, the democratic process is the answer to these problems. But how? When the message they're sending, say for example, I set up my own political party. Anyone who follows me will then feel, well, we're not even allowed to have our political party. We're not allowed to have our voice or talk about it because we're censored everywhere. So what choice do you give people? When you take away their platforms, when you don't let them speak about issues, you and solely you, the people censoring reasonable debate, you will be responsible for creating monsters. You will be responsible for creating terrorists. You, not anyone else. The effect of censorship does not work. It doesn't work. You're just going to anger people and drive them underground, rather than giving them a centre for debate where people's ideas can be challenged. Not anymore. But anyway, to the judge and the establishment who charged me £38,000 for being harassed and persecuted and driven from a city with my children. So far, a website was set up, www.cambridgecosts.com. And we're 50% there after 48 hours. So I have to pay 50% within 14 days. So I will be paying the 50% quite easily within 14 days. If this little tax that you put on me was supposed to be a real message to drive me away and silence me and shut me up and, like, in other words, shut up, we just charge you £40,000. Thanks to the beautiful British public and the support that I've got, I'll be paying your fine and your bill. And And it won't actually have that much of adverse effect on the work that I have planned. Yeah, these court cases do. This last week at court, supposed to be at court next Friday, not now. Although I am meeting with lawyers on Wednesday and on Friday. Most of my time seems to be consumed with meeting with lawyers. Next week, I'm going to start something new. I'm going to have a week in the life of Tommy Robinson. I'm going to have cameras with me every minute of the day, starting next week, just to show you what we do every day. I think it'd be entertaining. Got a couple of places, you know, like this whole legal thing. Yeah. What should I have done? I'll tell you what I was going to do. That police officer, that's what I was going to do. My solicitor talked me out of it. That police officer who terrified my children, I found out a lot about him. Where he played football, where he lived, everything about him was sent to me. And I was going to get a PA system and just play the sound of my children crying outside in his road. That's what I was going to do. My solicitor spoke me out of it. I was also going to then just turn up and question him, just ask him simple questions like a journalist does. Now, I've got multiple other people, a list of people who have lied. And next week, our little version of Troll Watch as such, you'll be following me every day. You'll be seeing what we get up to, where we go. We'll be travelling in the country. Follow this place. Again, every single one of you has donated to my legal costs. It's sort of, because you know what, it is deflating, man. When you look at a system, you think, hold on, it's black and white. It's on camera. Everything's on camera. Yeah, the police clearly acted and abused their power. Clearly. When I committed no crime, when I was out with my family, no risk at all, no danger. The Bedfordshire police officer told them he's no threat, he's no risk. The manager told them he's no threat, he's no risk. But a judge still finds that they acted reasonable and it was necessary to kick me out of the whole city. Go figure. Go figure. And yeah, that's it. Really, if you've just joined, we may be having European elections, I think, if they betray Brexit. Dodgy ground if they betray Brexit. I see them all saying that. I mean, Tommy Robinson, MEP. I've just got back from Belgium, where I was invited. This is how messed up our country is. I was invited by a political party out there with plenty of MPs, with the election coming up. I received a hero's reception. I'm invited to speak next in 2 weeks at the Czech Republic Parliament with Czech MPs, Polish MPs. This country, every MP would run a mile from me. Well, and they look down their nose upon us all. That has to change. So let's see what happens with Brexit. Please make your plans for Friday the 29th. Be in London. One final time. The 22nd, my court case. It's not happening on the 22nd. It's going to be put back. End of April, beginning of May, I understand. I'm sorry and apologise if you've made your travel plans. It'd be great if you could change those plans to the 29th, the next Friday. I'll be in London, so many thousands of others, celebrating or protesting Brexit. And to, again, one more time, everyone who's donated at cambridgecost.com. If you haven't signed up, please sign up at tr.news so I can keep in contact with you, because I'm sure this platform will soon be deleted too. Thank you very much. What time on the 29th? Everything about the 29th, my plans anyway, will be emailed out. I have hundreds of thousands of you now who have gone to www.tr.news. If you go there and just sign up for the newsletter, I can then ping you, because the only way I've got of contacting you now. I can then ping you a message, say, these are the details, these are what time I'm meeting, this is where our stage will be, this is where our PA will be, this is the time, this is who's speaking, etc., etc. As I said, nothing's finalised yet. So I'm not saying that, but I will be in London on 29th. So please make your plans to be there. Good night. You know, do you know what? I've actually tape recorded. When I come home after that court case, I come in and I press record. And I sat down with my kids and said, kids, you know what happened in Cambridge? The judge said the police done nothing wrong. And I've got their responses. And they're all just, but we didn't do anything, Dad. But we didn't do anything. Do you know one telling thing? Let me just tell you, it was a moment for me. When my daughter was going to the big school in the summer holidays 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. I sat her down. I said, darling, when you go to school, let me explain to you, some people refer to your daddy as Tommy Robinson. The name I sometimes use is Tommy Robinson. I started explaining it to her because I'd shielded her from all of that. She didn't know I'd been in prison or anything. So I said, darling, daddy's been in prison multiple times. I said, but daddy didn't do anything, sweetheart. Daddy didn't deserve to go to jail. I talk about things and issues that certain people don't want spoke about because they have dirty hands and they're covering their own asses and they're betraying the people. I tried explaining this to at the time, a 9-year-old. Yeah? And I said, but daddy didn't do anything, darling, and he should not have been sent to prison. So I said all this to her. Then this thing, months later, this thing happens with Cambridgeshire Police. The next day I come down into my kitchen after my daughter had witnessed what happened with Cambridgeshire Police. And she said, Daddy, I understand now. And do you know what? It's even going to get me emotional thinking about it now. I looked at her and said, what do you mean, darling? She said, I understand how they sent you to prison and you didn't do anything. That's a 9-year-old little kid having to think about that stuff. Because she watched how we done nothing wrong, but yet we were terrored by the police. Intimidated, followed, videoed, recorded, and kicked out of an entire city on a family day out. But my little 9-year-old watched that. And the truth is, my youngest daughter has still never been to a football match since that day. And then with everything that they'd done, when I got in the dock of that court case, they acted like I was in the wrong. Like I'd done something wrong. So I haven't done anything wrong. I've just gone out on a family day out and done nothing. In fact, the reason why Bedfordshire Police, let me tell you, the reason why Bedfordshire Police would have gone to court and just told the truth, the Home Office, so some of you understand, the Home Office took me to court 2 years ago. The Home Office are in charge of the football policing unit. They raided my home when I was in France. They come to my house at 3:30 when my children were getting from school, of course. They come there and they tried to give me a football ban order. I wasn't in the country. When I come home, they took me to court. The head of the Home Office football policing unit stood up in court and told the judge, we need to give him a football ban order. His presence, this is the thought police. This is the same as this crime here, this most recent one. His presence could provoke a reaction. They had a map for 5 years. They wanted to ban me from Luton Town Centre, from Luton train station, from the entire Muslim community of Luton, which is pretty big now, most of the town, from leaving the country because my presence could provoke. Now, when Luton Police was summoned to court again, the Home Office stood there and my barrister said, can you please tell me who's bringing this case against my client? And the Home Office said Bedfordshire Police. When we got Bedfordshire Police in the dock, the main football hooligan liaison officer, they said, is Mr. Lennon any problem to you? No, never. In fact, since his football banning order, because you have a chance to rehabilitate yourself, you see, that's how our society works. Since his football banning order, he only sits in the family stand. We've never seen him with the same groups of friends, and they are all my friends. We've never seen him with them. He only goes to the football with his friends as a family, as a father. They said, okay, so do we need to ban him from the town centre? Are you worried about what he may do? No. Do we need to ban him from the train station? No. So do we need to ban Mr. Lennon at all from going to football? No. So then they asked Bedfordshire Police, why are we here then? Who has brought this case against our client? And he said, this is all in court documented. And he said, this was put on our desk and we were told we had to do this. We had to do this. And then the judge's summing up of that case was, this is vague. The police's evidence, i.e. the Home Office, the football policing unit, was vague, cagey and dishonest. You can go read all this. This was 2 years ago. Now this latest one there where they eject me from a city. And again, Bedfordshire Police. And I appreciate it, I really do, because I haven't had a good run-in with Bedfordshire Police at all. But to see a police officer stand on oath, they sign up to protect and serve, and they're supposed to be honest. And to see a certain section of the police just lie and lie and lie, but then see another police officer who you know would be under immense pressure. He's in a real situation there. If he comes out and tells the truth, it looks like he's on my side. And I can assure you these officers are not on my side because I've known them for 14 years. I know that officer who stood on the dock, and I can assure you he's not a follower or a supporter of my work. Yeah. But when on oath, he stood and told the gospel truth, that I'd done nothing wrong and that I shouldn't have been ejected. And do you know when the judge said, yes, but Mr. Lennon got angry? Do you know what that police officer said whilst on the oath? He said, if I was out with my 3 children and police officers come up to me and ejected me from a city, I'd get angry. That's what he said. And to think that all this can play out and the whole public can watch that video, millions of people, that's why I thank the judges. I want to thank you because millions of people watch this video. It's indefendable. You can't defend it, but here you are defending it. So all you've done is send a message out to the British public that the police are not accountable when they do wrong, because they clearly done wrong. But I wasn't bothered about you sending that message to the British public. You've sent that message to my children. I had to sit my children down and say, you know what, kids? But I did explain to them the situation with Bedfordshire Police. So I did explain to them that Bedfordshire Police were absolutely appalled at what happened to them that day. And do you know what? The first time, every time I take my children to football and I see these police officers who were present that day, they go out of their way to be super nice and super kind. And for that, I appreciate it. So for all the run-ins I've had with Bedfordshire Police, I absolutely respect the fact and your honesty and your integrity in your job. Other than that, I'm going to say good night. I've got an early start in the morning. Thank you. Peace. See you on the 29th.